Hello, it's James here. Um, I'm kind of obsessed with this piece. I did it originally as a musical storytelling piece, but I'd like to do it again here because I'm still playing with it here on Pavo Rio as a straight storytelling, which is really what this site is all about. And I keep tinkering with it. It started off as a prompt given as a writer's challenge and 7 minutes to write on the prompt. And that comes out to about 2 paragraphs, maybe a little bit more depending on how fast you type. And I liked the concept and I kept going. And then I typed out a good short story, a short piece, maybe even a chapter one to a book, a prologue even. But then I started adding graphics, then I added motion, and then sound and music, and I just kept adding things into it, and it was a hoot. It was a real hoot. Now, the graphics I use come from an AI site, and there's a lot more work than you think, but not as much as you think in generating the visuals. They were pretty much the easiest of it all. And then I'm working with a site called Runway, and they make animations from photos. So of course I have AI photo generated photos, and this site will animate them. Now that takes a little bit more work, but it's not as hard as you might think, but a little bit more work, and it's not free. They have a free concept to it, but of course by the time you're done, you run out of your free credits. I paid for a year's worth of credits, which you get every month, and I used up all of this month's credits on just what I did on my musical side. If you go to my website, you'll see that. And that little bit of animation used up everything. It's very expensive. And so I really do like it though. Now my voiceover, I paid for that once, never paid for it again, and I get to tinker with that. Now that you do have, it will vocalize whatever you type, but you do have to go in and edit it, put in spaces and breaks, maybe misspell a word because it says it too properly. And that does take a lot of play, edit, and that takes a while. It's time intrusive, but it doesn't cost you anything. So you put all these elements together and you get what I have on my site, a musical storytelling with motion and video. I kept tinkering with it, and since I wanted to do it without the music, I had to start over again, more or less. And this is what you're about to see. But as I always recommend, start with a story. Write a good story. Doesn't really matter what. Then after you've written it and it's on paper, it can now be manipulated and worked with and tricked out. So enough of the tutorial. I'd like to present for the group, I'm hoping as a teaching tool, what I've done when I started with a simple prompt. Write something about leaves in the winter, and then you write something, and then you look at it and you see if you can expound and break it out, and then you go to your other tools, your voiceover tools, or your own voice, which you can do with the software, and then your artwork, which is nothing more than if you can see it in your head, type it as a prompt and then work from there to edit it. And then with animation, how do you want it to move? How do you want it to act? But just be aware, some of it's relatively cheap, some of it's free, and some of it's god-awful expensive. And go from there. Creation is creation. And you can create as much as you are willing to put work into, as much as your wallet is willing to put up with. And then you can get people to help you. They could take your concept and they can do the artwork. It can be collaborative. You should make it collaborative. That is what Mike's site, the Pavo Reel, the group, that is what we are trying to make as a community. Give it a shot. I present to you. Oh, and let's not mention traumatizing your AIs is so much fun.
Oh my, Oh my, why? Why, James? Why would Bobbi prompt that? Why would you write it? Why would you let me watch it? You do know I'm staying in your room tonight.
I present to you When the Power Goes Out.
Some say it's true, some say it's not. But I was there when it happened. When the power went out. They came. There was a calmness which spoke of a stillness in time. I couldn't feel hot or cold for a moment. They appeared. The quietly spoken bogeymen of their time. They appeared. 3 in front of me. They were silent and watched me. Then they sat before me. In the pause I did not run, shriek, nor did I turn away. They came before me, when the power went out. I opened my mouth to speak, gathering my wits about me. For if there was anything they wanted, by their ability they already had it. As I opened my mouth to speak, the first of the 3 spoke to me. We are the Langoliers of 3. We only came to rest with thee. So the Langoliers sat and we spoke. They are quite nice folks. But they told me they only appear, when the power goes out. They had no names, at least none that I could pronounce. Number 1 was first to speak. So that's how I called him. 2 and 3 sat to his left and right respectively. They had an odd manner about them, as though tired from some dire deed. I dared not ask, but it weighed on my thoughts. 1 said to me, "Oh no, oh no. We like it here," said 2 and 3. "We've watched you for quite some time. We've read your words. We like your rhymes. We waited and hoped for so long," said 3. "We could not wait any longer, we 3. 2 just nodded and jumped up and down in glee. These were the happiest bogeymen that counted 3. "We took out the power so the lights would go out. We took out the power," 2 did shout. "We so wanted to meet you," said 3 to me. 1 said as he announced, "We Langoliers have so little time, with little time to pounce. So little time to waste, not 1 ounce. We've watched you, we've read you, while we've gone about our work. More than once or twice our jobs we did shirk. We always promised to stop by, to see your stories in your eyes. But as time went on we got too tired to wait. So we picked this time. Pulled the plug on this date." I sat back, blinked once or twice. Then tried to find a way to ask this question nice. "Now that you've found me and seen what I do, will you leave me more than just my eyes when you've said adieu?" The trio laughed and gave such a chuckle. Good thing that I sat, for my knees did more than a little buckle. They said as one, these 3 before me, "You have nothing to worry, so stand firm and be stout. We are the ones who made the lights go out." So with that I breathed a sigh of relief, if for no better reason than to stop rattling my teeth. The rest of the evening came and then went, with never a worry of the time that was spent. Langoliers have nasty work from day to day. But I sat and watched them play, never forgetting that they may visit me as work someday. But that is the story of another time, another day. What joy to see Langoliers this way. They reminisced on dear friend Edgar Poe. They asked me did I know? Yes, of course, then my writings I did show. They committed them to memory, no power to print. I could see the gleam in their eyes as time went. Then, as all things do, time was spent. I'd almost forgotten where the time went, and who was sent. The trio had promises made of new meetings and such. I, as a reflex, made none as such. Even in a clutch by candlelight, this trio a bit much. Bobbi. Bobbi. Do you see what you've done? Do you see what you call when you prompt, just for fun? Ah, there are dark things that come out in the dark. There are red eyes that peer back in the park. But on this day you caused quite a shout, when you asked the question, when the power goes out.